here, I think, doing the third edition right now of the UMU Alumni Online Meetup. The main purpose here is for us to get together, to share a little bit more outside the classroom, to connect, to ask each other questions. And like Ambrose was saying, usually it's a very intimate UMU alumni meeting, but now we also opened it up to the wider audience to also get other inputs from others. So that's very exciting. So I guess we will keep having more people joining us along the way. Before we officially start and introduce the topic, I would like to invite a volunteer to lead us into an opening prayer to officially open this meeting. Do we have any volunteers here? Before I pick a volunteer. Whoever would like to volunteer, you can unmute yourself. We are still few people, so it's still intimate. Otherwise,
okay, let me pray. Let me pray.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes, Father, in the name of Jesus, we bless you for this opportunity, Father, Lord, to share knowledge, to share experience, to share practicality. We thank you that we'll be able to learn and we'll actually translate this learning into action so that we'll be able to impact our families, the society that is around us, and the nation at large. We bless you and we ask that everything that is going to be done, Lord, that your presence is with us. We bless you and we pray in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much for these opening words. Then we can go right ahead into the start. Basically, we are here together to talk about a very, very exciting topic, which is positioning your business to serve the local market. And we have a number of aspects today that we are going to talk about. We have a very interesting keynote speaker, Bernard Mujuni. I'm still practicing how to pronounce all the names. Sorry about that. And then we have three very exciting panelists who will also be guided through a few questions, and also there's a lot of room and space to share experience, but also we have time for the audience to ask questions. So in case of any questions, please collect them in the chat box as we proceed with the program. Like whenever there's a question coming up, you can drop it there, and then we try to make time to answer them during the respective plots. So with that being said, I would actually like to maybe invite Ambrose to say a few words, just to welcome us all, like within a sentence or two, and then also invite Mr. Felix to give a few words about E4IMPACT, because as I understood, this is a special edition. Not maybe everyone knows about E4IMPACT, so it's also great to have a few words about that. So let me hand over to Ambrose, just a few words while we're here, one or two sentences, then over to Felix.
Thank you very much, Karina. I'm very honored. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this is the third in the series, they are now monthly series of alumni learning moments, if you want. As you will know, Uganda Matters University has since 1996 graduated close to 30,000 alumni. We are scattered all over the world and people are doing great, really. And so one of the ways we thought would consolidate this fraternity of the alumni is to have these frequent sharings. There are a lot of other initiatives. I'll invite you to check out the website, umualumni.com. There are lots of initiatives there. And in the spirit of this particular session we are having today, I want to thank very much the E4IMPACT alumni group that have accepted to come and share with us. And I know that the rest of us have a lot to learn. I will not take a lot of time because of the peculiarity of this E4IMPACT program. I think it's in order to ask Felix to help use two 2-3 minutes to give us an overview, especially for those who don't know what E4IMPACT program is, and then we can delve into the deep. Thank you very much. You are welcome. And we are looking forward to learning.
Well, thank you, Ambrose. Thank you, Karina, and the team that have organized this event. Very good afternoon to you all. I'm called Felix Idrako. I'm the E4IMPACT MBA Business and Finance Coach at Uganda Martyrs University. E4IMPACT stands for Entrepreneurship for Impact. It's an MBA that is global, focusing more on social entrepreneurship. The MBA is run in partnership with the Catholic University of Milan in Italy and with other partners in Africa. I must say that this MBA started in Kenya, and so far it has spread all over Africa right now. In Uganda, of course, the MBA is at Uganda Martyrs University, and indeed we have been working with very inspiring and passionate entrepreneurs on the program, who I believe will be interacting with all of us here. About the program academically, it's a dual degree program for those who are interested to join it. You may find more details about the program on the website of Uganda Martyrs University. So I believe the deeper understanding of the program will be from our panelists. That is Mr. Parity Mujuni, Javira Luaga, we have Diana Nsereko, and our keynote speaker, that is Bernard Mujuni, and Karina, who will be our moderator today afternoon. Thank you, and I wish you a very inspiration in all the deliberations that you're going to have today afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Felix, for these introductory remarks and introducing the E4IMPACT program. I'm just cross-checking the agenda. I think we can just right away go towards the keynote speech. I'm personally very excited about this keynote speech. And so hopefully also all the participants here are very keen on it. There will be a video. We hope that the technical issues will be on our side so that we can listen to it properly. Let me not take too much time, and let me also not go deep into the introduction of the keynote speaker, because usually that is being best done by himself. So let me just hand over to Mr. Bernard, the CEO of Workspaces. I'm sure you have an introduction about yourself. Maybe you can also share with us which edition of E4IMPACT you were part of. And then you have about 20 to 25 minutes to lead us into this very important topic. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Karina, and Sarina or Karina, thank you so much. Today is a very, very interesting day, and I want to thank UMU leadership, the alumni, for giving us this opportunity to share what somehow has worked and what hasn't worked for us as entrepreneurs. Now, I am a product of, I graduated last year, and so that is 20, and at times I forget because I was lost into the passion of creating the enterprise. So 2019, 2020, or 2021. And then probably there began my story. Well, I don't have a formal presentation as an entrepreneur, but I hope I will share the experiences, because that's what we are trained to do. The best part of it is not what is written, but what is shared probably verbally and informally. I'll begin with the story of Nyungu ya Mawe and how it came up. The story comes from the spark, which probably you call it a miracle, which happened as we were doing the MBA. One of my project was workspaces. I had taken up the mantra to create accessible and affordable workstations around the city. I had already done MOUs with different owners of the buildings, especially hotels, having turned their lobby rooms, which were used to be computer rooms, into workspaces. And I was on that mission. Little did I know that a spark would come as we're doing the analysis to see what do you have that you can put across for the betterment of your concept of your project. And then I realized that I had this interesting green space, a forest of almost 25 acres within the heart of the city. And it was just growing. And it had become almost a hub for drug abusers, thieves would steal in the neighborhood and then they say, that forest. So I started thinking, why don't I create this as a workspace? I already have this for the creative economy to thrive. And that was the birth of workspaces. And this space also comes from the fact that we had identified, I had already in my analysis identified that the young people in this economy do not have deliberate, purposeful, created space for them to thrive in terms of developing their content and monetizing the same. And that's how workspaces, Nyungu ya Mawe Forest Park was born. I will share with you the video which will take you through the project, the design, the outlay. But it's better if you come and pay a visit to the actual site of the business. Now, this is African-inspired heritage, cultural, tourism inspired. We have cottages which are done out of sustainability concept, and design is 100% almost sustainable. It is wood and grass is sourced from the widows and women who have been orphaned by HIV/AIDS in the islands of Lake Victoria. But also the wood is sourced from women who are, especially the stonework which we have used is sourced from women in Nebi who are victims of domestic violence. And that's how we do a little social impact and environmental. But the fact that it is in the forest definitely places it at the heart of the environmental sustainability. Our design maintains trees. You'll find a tree in the heart of the cottage, or a cottage actually in the heart of a tree. The other way can work. And then you'll find our sitting spaces. We can sit up to 1,500 people in the forest. We have deliberately created furniture, rustic furniture, which sits people and people are crazy with it. We have campfire, we have, play space and workspaces. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, we have people who are recording their videos, short films, photos for gaining traction on their small businesses, on the podcasters and, bloggers. So we have filming going on up now as we have an arrangement with NTV to develop their catch-up program in the evening here. And so we have hosted musicians presenting in the woods, and everything is getting, almost out of our hands. We've had some exponential growth. Now, that is about where we are. We have the wellness center, which is almost done. We have created a woman and man-made lake. Yeah, take my word, woman and man-made lake. It's the size of a football pitch, and it's exciting with an island. We have an amphitheater, which is a 1,500 capacity theater sitter, built out of mere, polyethylene and wood and grass. Those are the major components, and it is a wonderful thing. If you see a purposeful built space for the performance, for artists, poets, musicians, call them the comedians, the creative economy to thrive. Hitherto, this has not been there because musicians have always gone to football pitches to do their musical concerts. And at the same time, football pitch is the same level and even a musician cannot be seen. Then the people start standing to see properly. Then they start throwing the bottles and chairs, and then violence erupts. You can't even see properly. So, but our theater is built on the natural terrain. We didn't excavate. We left it the way it is. And that is Nyungu ya Mawe for you, the structural makeup. Now, what has helped us to move? I think the most important thing that we should take as entrepreneurs is that there is always a story. There is always a story. Everyone has a story. You must stay firm to your story if you have camp. That's the first thing. When we were doing Nyungu ya Mawe structures and brass look like the nest by a bird, which is, we have this common bird. I don't know the local name, but it makes a funny nest, a big nest in the middle, in the branches of the tree. And you can never tell where it enters from. And so people started thinking that this man whom we had always thought that he was mad by planting a forest in the middle of the town now has graduated into a full witch doctor, because his grass-thatched things have now started coming out as shrines. And I had to take that seriously. And I said, maybe I'm a mad person. Eh? Why? Before people would just peep and say, you see, the man is constructing a shrine now. We had told you. But I believed in the concept. I said, no, this must go on. And my fear was, will people come to this shrine? How will I attract people to come here? How will I attract? This is a shrine for witchcraft or for witch doctors or for the traditional healer. And we have seen very many politicians visiting for traditional healers, and it has its own fashion and design. And so 2 years ago, as we started up, and finally, as we believed in the concept, and people started coming, and that was the lockdown. Nyungu ya Mawe is born out of this lockdown. As you all know, we've gone through, a hard tunnel, a very difficult time, but it was inspired by the lockdown. And so I got enough time to concentrate on it. I used to ride 25 kilometers, that's around 20 miles or 20 or 80 miles every day on a bicycle to and from my home to this place every day throughout the whole lockdown. And I would make sure that I go back and fall asleep and deep asleep. But I was committed to the purpose. I wouldn't want to let even a day pass without seeing how the grass has been trimmed, the balcony, the wooden rustic balcony, how they have, sanding it, or how they did it, how they laid the stone. It is detailed. The fun is in the detail. So you must commit yourself to your purpose, to your vision. I must also say that you must operate. If you start an enterprise and take a leap, you must operate outside your average version. Average version, I mean that you must scare yourself. If you don't scare your average thing, people want to reward you. We've been quite lucky because as I speak now, I had to go and be near the cottage area, and I think I can show you. I can show you the cottages, but it will come later, because we have quite a good number of people coming in. Why? Because they know that in Nyungu ya Mawe, there is adequate space. And people by a table 3, a table 4, a table 5, but when you sit by design, you don't sit closely. And people were saying, we were choosing us, why are you separating us? We would want to be close, but we knew this is COVID time. You wouldn't manage to bring people close and then you control the crowd. Secondly, our business model had to shift because service had to find the client where they are sitting. We don't encourage you to come to demand for service, the drinks and all that and food. And then because we limit contact, human to human contact, we try as much to limit. Now, the other aspect is that the idea you come up should be a little bit of disruptive. not a little bit, but it must be disruptive. You cannot do what the average person is doing and you may come here, they reward us simply because we have disrupted the mantra, the contemporary thinking that, oh, my father has a forest also. I have a forest also near here, but I didn't know it could be this good. I had the same. My father has a forest in Rukujili, in Imbarara, in Soroti. I think I can do the same. Yes, but this is what Nyungia Mawe Forest Park has done. You cannot transplant, this common saying, an oak from London, from England, and it becomes the same oak when you plant it here. The soils are totally different. The times are different. The seasons are different. So please commit yourself to the value proposition which you believe in. Do not necessarily cut and paste. Even if you are going to improve an idea, maintain some bit of originality and ownership. And maybe the other aspect I want to say is that you must seek out advice on people who have already done it. Well, I had to take a tour, and my senior colleague in this industry, Parity Twinomujuni, hosted me at Hawk's Eye. I had to, you must benchmark and listen to people who have walked the miles. And it's very, very, very important for you as an entrepreneur. You are not the first one in this world, neither are you going to be the last one. And so you must commit, but be open to seek advice from people who have walked it up. But in the process, you must cut out your niche and not be disrupted, because ideas will come, ideas will flow. I mean, we've had people, the first person or the second person who stayed here for 3-4 days with the family, and everywhere. And so he called me and said, you know what, Bernard, now you're into travels and tour industry. Please go and create lodges in the parks and, buy so many vehicles and start taking tourists around. And that's not, I listened. Then I said, maybe. But then my heart said, no. Your passion is in creating space within the, urban setup, but create the space where people can be challenged, young people can learn sustainability, how people can change the thinking pattern. But this is not going to be in Kidepo, in Queen Elizabeth National Park, because there are already people there, there are already parks there. Nothing is going to excite them. And I'm not the richest to create the most exciting things in the parks. And, I said, no. That's not me. That's not me. I said, I'm going to build this and build another one near here if it must grow, because that's where my strength is. So in choosing out your partners or listening to advice, you must listen carefully and choose what connects to you. The other aspect is that everyone has a line of success. Everyone was born with a silver, lining. We could have done different businesses. They don't get traction the way we think, but everyone has a spark of life that can ignite success. You only have to make the right choice. While building up this Nyungia Mawe Forest Park, a lot of things came up because the creative hub, like the bar, restaurant, was not the main purpose for us when we started. Ours was about building cottages, creating the serene, people come rest, maybe families, maybe later on as we do the amphitheater, musicians, content creators, poets, comedians can perform, even church, pastors and, evening, Rotary group meetings. Rotary is already here, by the way. They are meeting here almost all other time. But we did not think that the musical part of it as a creative hub was very strong. But as I speak now, we can host almost 1,000 people from Friday to Saturday to Sunday. And especially Saturday has the biggest crowd. And how do we manage this crowd? On a Sunday under COVID is a miracle, I think, by, it's because we have adequate space. Families come put mats somewhere and sit and order for their food. And after that, children run through the woods and they look at the ponds. They just swing around the trees and look at the monkeys. We have a family of monkeys, of around 25 monkeys. Actually, when we are planting this forest, it was all habituated by monkeys. and the population was just high. But as we started planting, the only habitat place for them is again the forest, because the surrounding environment is already developed. There are houses, there are, bungalows, there are apartments. And so the monkeys go scavenging in the woods, in the neighborhood, and in the evening they come. And so we feed them on a small light meal 3 times a week, so that they can keep learning how to sustain themselves. So I think that is very, very key. Most of us are not necessarily living our dreams. And you might find you are living somebody's dream because you want to do exactly what they have done. We created a unique kind of cottages in this country because we believed it made a lot of environmental and sustainability meaning. When we are constructing our, wooden bandas, we knew that as tree farmers, because I'm a tree farmer, I knew that I would use wood as much as I wanted because I plant it anyway. Even if I cut it, it's going to be planted again. And I was opposed to the concrete, everywhere concrete, because I've seen it at Hilton, I've seen it at Sheraton, I've seen it at, mention all the hotels of the world. And I said, no, this must be something unique. So you must live your dream. What is your passion? What is your passion? Passion to move some product or service from passion to portfolio needs a lot of commitment, imagination. Imagination is everything, because for you, without imagining a different world than what is there now, then you won't create value. People cannot buy into your value proposition if your level of imagination is average or just common standard. You've seen that happening. One opens a supermarket here, another one in the neighborhood, another one there, 5 supermarkets on this building. And that is no creativity, no imagination. And so imagine things and commit to it. Meditate. I at times wake up at 3 a.m. when everyone is sleeping and God is a bit relaxed, because very few people will be disturbing him. At 3 a.m., it's between you and your God. And commit to purpose, pray about it, commit to it, believe it, and pray for wisdom. And believe me, by morning, the next day, you'll make the best decisions because you'll have rehearsed your decisions. The other aspect is about strategy. I don't know, strategy is everything, but execution is another thing. When you look at, we did a lot of business model analysis at the university, and it helped us so much. But I knew that I was a strong person on social media. And so social media, if you go to Nyungi ya Mawe Forest Park page on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, we are very strong there. And why? Because we did this at school, but also I had lived and I've had so many business starting, others failing, but this one started at the right time when the social media is the only option probably for you to get connected, to get to know each other, because the lockdown is there still. And once you do something now, I want to share this with other colleagues. At this moment on the social media, everyone is yearning for news and the media, and the social media is the strongest connecting entity. So do the right graphics, develop the right content, and connect to your community. Make sure you have your community. So far, I think we have around 5,000 following on social media in this short period of time. And that means anytime. And apart from that, we have a hard copy of digital information, emails and mobile numbers. Our clients leave behind their contacts because of social media, because of COVID. We've been registering them. And so we have around 5 blue books full of all the contact. At any one moment, we can connect our community. And so we believe if there is going to be any launch, which we have not done now, we can easily connect to our community. Keep a database of your clients and useful clients at that. And then the other aspect is about, it's a dog story. There is this, Les Brown has talked so much about business and, very inspiring gentleman. But he gave a story about a gentleman who was always being chased by a dog, a bulldog. Every morning, he would pass by the apartment, the dog would come out, the man would take off, and it would chase him almost a kilometer. He would reach every day, he would reach home panting, and he was cursing this bulldog. Until one day, when he stopped on the way and picked some rock, and then the dog opened its mouth, and it was toothless. It ran back, wah, 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 wah. Since then, the dog never chased this guy because after all, it was toothless. After all, realized this guy can always harm it. So, but the man had suffered for such a long time every day. So I'm saying, fear your own shadow. At times we fear our own shadows. We create shadows of fear. Take a leap. And so I want to say that finally, or in my conclusion, that don't keep a grudge, a business grudge of, how supplies, no. You will always have challenges in any business, but look, at Nyungiamau during this COVID, we managed to operate and other people were complaining. Our appeal went up to the topmost Security Council. They did an assessment. They sent Ministry of Health to come. They found us very complying to the protocol, and people were sending medical facilities were sending people to go to heal after COVID treatment, to go and heal where there is nature. And so we started getting people who are healing from COVID to come and rest in the woods. And so you can imagine that kind of thing and do yoga from there, because that was a prescription after for quick recovery. And so we started getting people coming, a big number actually. And so, but we were working because we had what other competitors do not have, and that did not do well with them. They started saying that, this man is very strong because he has security. Maybe that forest belongs to the first son. He's, he has the military there, that's why he's working. But whoever would come there, even those complaining, would say, absolutely, this place is fantastic. This is where we want to be in this period of COVID. And so never keep a business grudge. There will always be someone who's going to report, complain. One time I will share with you a simple story. One time when we had a big do, we had the Easter concert, we had comedy night in the, we had 3D movies in the woods. And the number became so big, that people started parking in the neighborhood. So the neighborhood became quite more, repellent, if for lack of a better word. They said, no, this Nyungiamau thing, we can't be with it, it's too much. They blocked the road. And little did I know that the community had blocked the road. I said, now what has happened? They said, no. The vehicles are simply too many. One young lady had taken it herself. Then I sent my people to go and talk to her nicely. And as I speak now, she's one of our tour guides in the forest. And so, but there is always going to be some resentment of some sort for something which overwhelms you, but also other people, including your competitors. How does it happen like that? What do they do to attract people and keep the clients? And how we plan to keep our clients is that we are positioning ourselves to keep innovating all the time. Every time you come to our forest, you'll find something new. You'll find a water fountain. You'll find different art pieces. We have a lockdown bar, a bar named after lockdown, and it is full of art and creativity and a lot of graffiti. And so you must keep innovating in order to survive in this turbulent market. I must say that so far, probably we are the most trending entity in this town. if not Uganda, in terms of a social, space. But that means there's a reward system from what we went through through our MBA. I am holding on closely to the principles of my MBA, and I think they are quite electric in guiding me to escalate, to move to another level, to excite, even to tell the story. If you look at our concept as you come in, totally organic, totally sustainable. And you must, if you want to see the whole value proposition the way I'm talking about it, you pay. You pay for nature guided tour. And that raises a lot of money for us. Not a lot, but it pays a lot. People pay. And on average, we can raise up almost 100,000 per day for nature guided tour. And each tour is 5,000. And so you can imagine every day people come to see, they pay for that knowledge. The way we have named our cottages after, Sankara Tubman, that civil rights activist in America who refused to stand up for purposes of racism. We have Wangari Maathai, he died for environment. We have Steve Biko, we have Mandela. And so children come to learn, to get a level of consciousness. And through all this process, people reward you. And so I want to say that we've walked a long, short journey, and so far it is very exciting, and we are meant to stay there. And we hope in future, as we open up other areas, our revenue streams will go up. I know Felix will know, we want to feel something about revenue streams. I can tell you that ideally speaking, our revenue streams have more than doubled during this period of COVID. And I must say that I can engage my administration very well, because I did financial modeling. I can interpret financial statements. I can comply with the statutory, I can know how to assess taxes. And therefore, I would want to recommend that whoever has an opportunity should attend MBA, E4IMPACT MBA. It doesn't matter how many masters you have. I have already masters. I have an MA in human rights and law, but I felt inadequate, and probably my MA was sitting on Nyungu ya Mawe for such a long time, until when I stood up and I opened up Nyungu ya Mawe by taking up the MBA, the E4IMPACT. So I want to say that those are my few remarks. Thank you so much. I have a simple and short video which I wanted to show. I don't know whether it is possible to broadcast it. Let me go through the files. Oh, Jesus. The one I wanted to show has a story, but this one does not have a story, but it is just, can you hear?
Not yet.
And that one?
No.
Oh, no.
Actually, the screen is black right now.
Oh, no.
Try to do what you did before. I don't know whether it is turning the screen to be landscape. There was something you did and then it was working.
Oh. Oh, no. I'm trying, stop sharing. No, it can't. I'll probably have to get something else. Let me see, the iDrive. Oh, no. Photo screen, no. Maybe I have to email and people will have to get it via the email. Because I don't see the file, unfortunately. iCloud, go back, do the story, pick it up. Okay, It's the video. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you try one more time. Otherwise, maybe you can also copy the link and put it in the chat box. That would also help. Mr. Ambrose, the video unfortunately is not on YouTube. We have cross-checked that before the meeting. Otherwise, that would have been a very good option as well.
Yes, true. You should have shared it with the admin so that they run it from that side. If you don't mind, I can quickly share it and they run through it, but that would be later maybe because you have other panelists on the waiting list.
Yes, let's do that later. Nevertheless, what I can do is I can quickly share my screen. I hope everybody can see that because what Bernard was talking about is actually very inspiring. And we all know that a picture can speak more than 1,000 words sometimes. So I just opened the Instagram account just to give us all an impression what Bernard was talking about, how the cottages look like. I hope you can see it. It's just like from the Instagram. I think you can also connect if you like. But yeah, there are some pictures of very cute cottages, the forest, how you can even have your wedding in the forest, and other events like yoga and picnics, etc. So just leaving that here to give us also a picture. There are already a few questions in the chat box. Maybe we take like 2-3 minutes just to answer a few questions that have come up already before we go for the panel discussion, so that we don't lose track of them. There's one question about under the circumstances and with increasing numbers of customers, what is your growth plan and growth strategy? In terms of that you might not be able to take them all, so what do you do if customers are increasing, numbers are increasing, what are your plans towards growth? And in the meantime, we can collect 2 more questions in the chat box in case there are urgent questions or remarks before we move to the panel discussion. Bernard, what is your growth strategy?
Thank you so much, Karina, and for the question, the growth strategy and growth plan. Yes, we are very conscious about this in our design, in our projections. We have planned for almost to host 2,000 people at any one moment. And so far we are halfway that way at the best. Only that actually the other time we had a promotion called the Rambo in the Jungle. You know, with woods you can create anything. I had an overfill, call it an overfill. And people came and we couldn't have any parking anymore. You can imagine 4 acres of parked cars, and we started panicking. And one thing very clear is that there's always going to be something exciting, but also overwhelming if you create something nice. And people innocently come, and you can't say, stop coming, stop coming. And so, but our space is designed to accommodate over 2,000 people. And so we have already embedded that particular part in our design. But come to think about it, we are creating an amphitheater of 1,500 people. Imagine those ones are seated, while others are into accommodation, others are doing zip lining, because we are building up a zip lining area, while others are swimming, while others are doing wellness, and while others are in the cottages. But while the majority would be at the creative forest hub over the campfire in the evening, either dancing or listening. That would be quite a substantial number. One, we have increased our infrastructure. You can imagine initially we are on a single phase electricity, and now we are on a 3-phase industrial power supply. 2, underground or water well support system. Our infrastructure, we had designed it to get sustainability, to get water underground. But I can tell you recently, our well, in this period of rain, ran out of water and we started panicking. So we opened up another well for underground water and in order to stay sustainable, and then did all the treatments and all that. And 3, we've known that this growth pattern attracts other people who are interested. The revenue authority, the town council, all of them are overwhelming us. Where is the accommodation tax? When actually they have not even built up the road that leads to Nyungu ya Mawe. One of the chats along the social media was like someone who was on a border and covered in a soot in the dust and said, this is what you go through while going to Nyungu ya Mawe, the best place in this town. And it was gaining traction all over the social media. I looked at it and I laughed. But people will not stop coming to you because they think you are big. They think you are meant to be, either your space has to be brought up or to be invaded. The speed governors will always come in. And so I'm dealing with the tax. Even when I'm a startup, I'm still, looking. And I said, no, this is a social enterprise. I have to explain what it is. It's all the space. I can have 1,000 people. They come here without even paying even a single shilling. They can come and rest in the woods and, smoke their cigar at a designated place and go back and have fun and laugh and even have a marriage proposal buying even a single drink from it. And there's no entrance fee. Oh, you have big numbers, NSSF, National Social Security Fund, how many you're paying the managers. But I said, look, I'm using the community around me. Every Friday, they come, around 20 girls and boys, young people, because we give jobs to the community, the priority. But also it helps us to mitigate on expenses for accommodation. They come from the community. We have trained them every Monday, Tuesday's training session. Then they work from Friday to Sunday when the traffic is high. And that's, I think I'm giving you the how to mitigate on the growth part of it. And then our kitchen. We have the best chef. I have not found any chef better than this, apart from, I don't know. My mother cooked for me when I was up to 6. She was the best chef I've ever got. And probably this is part of the story, which I should have started with, that I grew up as parentless at the age of 6, 1970, when I lost both of my parents. Of course, I had to grow up when I was still young, be enterprising, sell mushrooms, sell firewood. The family was not very bad off, but without a parent, you go through a lot. But probably it taught me how to be resilient. That is the story I should have started with from the beginning. But up to now, that spirit is in me, that you'll always get people coming up to you, thinking that, you have grown, yes, we want our share. And it's almost natural. It results into that. They come and say, okay, we see so many cars here, and even the police, will come and say, we see very many people there. What are you saying? You get, it's quite interesting. Growth comes with its challenges, but you must be ready to plan for it. I think that is, and also create fun, engaging the community, your community that come to, people driving all the way 50 kilometers from Entebbe to here to pay you for what you have done is a great honor. So you must be creative. You must make sure that your customer care is up to top notch, because our clients, our customer care agents are called rangers. Since we're in the forest, you'll find ranger number 1, ranger number 2, ranger number 3. And so we are branding to that effect. But very exciting that we even give now mentorship lessons to people who want to learn how to do the same somewhere else, how to do it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this. I think you explained very well, what it takes to position your business perfectly well to serve the local market. You have you have really mentioned all the key aspects, from customer service to building a community, to being unique, to tell your story, to be innovative, to keep adding new ideas, and also when you are doing things today, to also already think of the future. What happens if more people want to come? Like, do you have the capacity? And I think you have already put the necessary infrastructure in place. I have some good news. Felix shared with me a video that I would like to show to our participants of your space.
Thank you.
It's a 2-minute video. I think it's the one that you were looking for. So we can just briefly look at it. And so everybody has even a better picture of what we have just been talking about. All right, I hope you can see it and hear it.
Forest Park has created over 200 jobs directly and over 1,000 jobs indirectly. We employ 30 permanent employees and have over 100 contractual workers in various infrastructure projects. These include 50 in the development of the 1,300 capacity Ruga Ruga Amphitheater, 30 in the development of sauna, steam and La Forest Organic Spa, 20 in the development of sustainably built E4IMPACT Storyard Wooden Conference Hall, 20 in the construction of the 2.5-kilometer fence using polyplane, plastic wood and cement premix, 5 in the establishment of the organic vegetable gardens, 4 rangers guarding the forest. Indirectly, we have so far given our space for 3 movie shootings, 3 song recordings, 20 bridal showers, 2 mega musical concerts with over 30 musicians and creators, 10 podcasters, 5 bloggers for site traction, and 24 professional photography clients. We have entered contract and hosted 1 3D movie night, hosted Roast in the Forest Mist Festival, Almost Famous DJs attracting over 1,000 people. On Easter, in partnership with Yaya Extra and Comedy Store, we hosted Chameleon, Cindy, and other topmost musicians in Uganda, plus outmost sought comedians like Alex Mohanji, creating hundreds of jobs. Currently, we are discussing with NBS TV to host the catch-up program after hosting Miss Tourism Uganda. We have concluded the deal to host Kampala Sisha Nyama and Blankets and Wines with the House of DJs, the proprietors of Nyege Nyege and Blankets and Wines, the biggest social event by far in East Africa. We have open discussions with the Comedy Night Store to host them at the amphitheater.
Yes, I hope we're all able to...
Thank you.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Felix.
Great.
Thank you, Serena.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your advice. Please stay with us because there might be follow-up questions even after the panel discussion. And then also, of course, we would like to invite you later on also to share your opinion in case there are other questions or other comments you have. This was very inspiring, and I hope everybody is very eager and keen to visit you very soon.
Well, thank you.
I think we can now. I was just cross-checking the chat box, but there are no more questions as of now. I think later on we will get others. We can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is basically now moving towards the panel discussion with our 3 panelists. And I'm very honored to be guiding us through a few questions and even learn more about this topic from other businesses, from other entrepreneurs that have all been part of the E4IMPACT program. So it is very exciting to have everybody on board. Just also a brief introduction from my side, because I realized I've also not introduced myself yet. And yet I'm the host, so you should be knowing who you are talking to or who is guiding you through all these questions. So let me actually introduce myself before we go through the introductions of the panelists. So my name is Karina. I have been part of the E4IMPACT program in 2017. I think that was the 3rd edition, if I'm not mistaken. I'm also seeing a few of my classmates here, which is really great. And so many other people as well, where I had the honor already to meet a few of you. So that's also very exciting to see you here again. Yeah, where do I start? So maybe just in very, very brief, you have maybe seen on the poster, CEO of Moho Home. So basically what I'm currently doing, besides having started other businesses, so I think we are all in this spectrum of being somehow serial entrepreneurs. Recently I started, so that was during the whole COVID year, a company called Moho. And Moho is basically an online furniture startup based here in Kampala, with the vision to provide beautiful and modern furniture, to create beautiful homes at very fair prices without the hassle of dealing with carpenters. So I'm not going to go into detail too much because I'm too excited about the panelists that are coming up now. If you want to know more about Moho, you can also go to Instagram, Moho Home, to see what we have. But that's, let me leave it like that here. And let me invite the panelists to come and join us. It would be great if the internet allows, the connection allows, if we, at least for the introductions, we have the video very briefly. I saw already Parity checking it out, and he is sitting probably somewhere around Lake Bonyoni, if I'm not mistaken. So kindly panelists, get ready. The first round to open up the panel discussion is about the introductions, who we have here. So I would like to call on each one of you to just briefly, introduce yourself and your business, where you are located, what you are doing, very briefly in form of like a short, like 1 or 2 minute pitch, so that we all know who you are and what you're doing. Maybe let me start with our ladies first. Diana, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, kindly go ahead. Introduce yourself.
So for this, organizing this event. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but there's a little bit of a lag.
Okay. My name is Diana Seriko. I'm an UMO alumni, 4th edition, E4IMPACT. And I am a CEO for a company called Brand Momentum. And what this company does is basically to provide branding and promotional products, giveaways for companies, organizations, and individuals. And I'm very happy to be here, and especially to share my experiences coming out of what I learned during little for me and the business, and in being able to take us through this difficult pandemic and being able to be resilient. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this introduction. And then we go right over to Parity.
Thank you so much, Karina. I'm Parity Chinomjuni, and I'm from the 4th edition. I run Hawk's Eye Lodge, which is on Lake Bunyonyi. I also plant trees on Parity forests. And of recent, I've developed passion for sheep rearing. But my major business now is on Lake Bunyonyi, Hawk's Eye Lodge, which is targeting both the budget and upper budget customers, and 70% to 80% of our customers are actually from the local market. And I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. That's very interesting. We have another serial entrepreneur right there. And also very interesting that he's targeting really the local market in the tourism and hospitality sector, which is not always very easy. Then we have our third panelist, Jawira. I'm still practicing the name. Kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Karina. My name is Javid Aluwaga, and I am the CEO and founder of Lewis & Shaw Advertising Limited, which is currently based in Bunga, here in Kampala. Primarily, we offer communication support services to development corporations, humanitarian support organizations, and non-profit organizations. Our niche is transforming the disconnect between the creators of communication and or organizations and the consumer. So currently we're supporting the European Union, the German Development Corporation, Solidaridad, East and Central Africa, and Plan International. And here we primarily focus projects and programs that primarily target our local people in the sectors of maternal neonatal healthcare, in the sectors of institutional capacity building, in the transport network, in the sectors of gender-based violence and women empowerment, and also in the sectors of education and personal development. So I'm glad to be here. I was part of the 4th edition with Parity and Diana, and I have run this business for the last 12 years. It's been a fantastic roller coaster for me and a learning experience. Also, as part of our strategy, we're into research. We have a team of research consultants that provide research services to organizations. And part of what I'm doing for doctoral study as well is I'm investigating the impact of culture-oriented communication on a sample of refugees, looking at the Sudanese, Eritrean, and urban refugees. So it's a pleasure for me to be here, and thank you, E4IMPACT, for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for these introductions. We can just jump right into the first question. So if we talk about positioning yourself in the local market or for the local market, what does that mean to your particular businesses? Maybe we can start with, who do you define as your target customer, or like just to better understand for all of us that are listening in, who are you targeting? Who are you selling to exactly? Maybe you can give us like a brief description of who these people are. And then that's a quick round. And then after that, we can look into what do you do to actually access your target group? How do you position yourself? How do you brand yourself? Let's start with Parity about that. That's very interesting. How do you define exactly your local market? And yeah, then we continue with Diana.
Thank you so much, Karina. The hospitality industry is very, very interesting because there is too much competition. There are so many products on the market. But how we positioned Hawk's Eye Lodge, we positioned ourselves as a genuinely eco lodge. We don't have much concrete here. And we and Nyunguya Mawe tend to copy so many things together. So we decided to use local materials for construction. And we tried also to do a playground that is purely for using wood and local materials, but which is for adults. And we have a catchword of Discover the Child in You at Hawk's Eye Lodge that looks at an adult who wants to still be like a child, behave like a child so that you can relax. And when we looked at the market, our market is international. Everybody can stay with us. But we wanted to focus on most especially the growing market, which is the young people 30 years to 40 years and above. And we know that market, most especially from the lady side, can even attract the upper age market, the 50-year-olds, the 60-year-olds that still have blood flowing in them. And because of that, then we designed it in such a way that everywhere you see it, there is a picture that you can take, and we target to have between 20 to 30 pictures of our clients being posted on social media per week, and these are posted by the clients themselves. So they actually do our marketing. So in terms of the target market, the biggest target market that we look at is the young market, the growing market. We want to grow with that market. We certainly look forward to having our brand move away from Unyonyi to other parks in the next 10 to 15 years. And because of that, we want to move with our market. And what we have seen is that we we have so many repeat clients. In the hospitality industry, when someone repeats your place, you know that most especially these lodges that are in conserved areas, you know that there's something that we are giving out that is very, very important to them and so dear to them. So we are seeing so many repeat customers. We have some clients that come 6 times a year, 4 times a year. We also do friendly things for children so that when the parent asks where we can go, they say we go back to Hawks Eye Lodge. So we tend to target our market that way, but also we don't do away so much with the international market. We do the international market, but what we do, we separate the clients. When we have many international guests, we then admit less of the domestic customers because their behaviors are different. The international market most of the time needs a quiet environment. The Ugandans want to party all the time. So we tend, most especially weekends, you'll find that we don't have many of the international market, but on weekdays, then we focus on the international market. And you'll find that from Monday to Friday, if you go to any of our OTAs, the online travel agencies, booking.com, Expedia, they are open. But when you go to the weekends, you'll find that most of the weekends we close all our rooms so that the international market does not book us during the weekends, because the weekends is where we move to our clients. The other thing we do for the Ugandan market is that we went budget, where we would have asked for $200, we asked for $50. And we focus to earn money from numbers and not just mere law. If we are full on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, then possibly that cushions other areas where we don't have many customers. And we believe that model will push us forward. Thank you so much, Karina.
Wow, you already explained so much, how you're differentiating between the different target groups and what you're doing to attract them, but also how to make really use of the different groups without disturbing the internationals with the local tourists, and like how to align everything and to be able to actually serve the local market. Because that's why I was asking for, like, who is your target customer? How would you describe it? So it's very good that you explained it so much in detail, because yeah, as we know, there are different customer groups and different demands. So how do we serve them? How do we make sure that we yeah, satisfy their needs and have repeat customers so that they come back? Diana, how is it in your business? Could you also briefly explain who is your target group, especially concerning the local market, and what are you doing to position yourself in such a way that they are attracted to your business?
Thank you. For brand momentum, our business is largely targets other businesses or individuals. But the bulk of it is businesses, and these are local businesses. So these local businesses come to us in need of products that differentiate them from their competitors, that would like to give them a mark and push them ahead. But also some of them come to us when they need to produce items that will give their customers gratitude, to show gratitude. So we have clients within different industries, like the education, financial, telecom, hospitality, trading, tourism. Actually, we have a vast industry scope. So we're not specific to any particular industry. We deal with companies that are small sized, from 1 person, 5 people, maybe to 10, the medium companies, and also to the large companies like telecoms, banks. Now, when it comes to the branding industry, it's all about what do you have that is unique. First of all, what do we do in branding? There are many things. For example, there's the creative work like creating a logo, creating corporate identity, stationery, that just from the onset of a company. If someone wants to has come up with a company, they need a name, they need a logo, we're able to do that. Then we're also able to go ahead and do printing of whatever they need. Let them be booklets, let them be receipt books. And then we go all the way to the corporate, where we're able to do shirts, t-shirts, uniforms for their staff. We're able to work out the signage. So it depends. We are positioning ourselves in a space where we can deliver what we call 360 degrees of branding services. You can come to us and you're sure that I'll be able not only to have my logo developed, but even after the logo is done, if I need t-shirts for my staff, if I need uniforms for my staff, I'll be able to get them from Brand Momentum. Now, yes, we are in a very competitive space. There are many companies like us that are delivering these same services, and one has to be very unique. One has to know what they actually stand for so that your customers can keep coming back to you. So in this particular space, we are positioning ourselves to be, first of all, to have unique products and durable products. This is very important. But if I come, I'm able to have a delivery over 1,000 sweaters, 1,000 t-shirts, and I'm able to get something that is unique that my competitor may not have, but I'll be able to give to my clients, I'll be able to give to my stakeholders, and they're able to remember my logo, remember my product, and when they are making a decision and they have a need, they will come to my company. So we look at, with Brand Momentum, we don't only look at you coming to us the first time and then you go away. We want to see whether what we give you will be able to achieve your objectives so that you keep coming back. So we sit down with you and we're able to know, okay, apart from this particular service that you need from us, we can also be able to design for you any other scope of work that you need. We're able to create a website for you. We're able to do this for you. So we're able to also identify the gaps within our clients, what they need, and able to identify. That is the reason why they keep coming back to us, those clients that come back to us, because we're able to identify their needs even before they could see them. And so, oh, okay, yes, you will actually also need this. So we give them advice. We're able, and in our particular industry, it's very important to be able to deliver on what you say that you'll be able to do. So it's important to keep the promise, what the brand promise or the value promise to your customers. So our niche, right now we have been targeting the small, medium, and large companies. We're narrowing down to largely the medium companies. Why is that? Is because of the business model that we are developing. And in this way, we are able to, we have clients in this particular niche that always come up with, they always have different needs throughout the year. Let me say they have different events within the year that they need. And so we're able to come up with them, but also that the fact that they're able to pay, to give us certain deposits. So it makes it easy for the business to continue running. Well, with large companies, sometimes the issues of you get payments after 90 days. So it is a strategic move to see that we are basically targeting this kind of companies that are able to give us, we're able to do client financing. So as you asked me, that is how we are positioning ourselves. We want to be the company that's able to provide for our customers unique, durable products, and also a variety, innovative products within the range of promotional and giveaway items. And that is how Brand Momentum is positioning itself.
Wow, thank you so much. That was very, very interesting. And yeah, even for you, you're mentioning that you focus on repeat customers and trying to always deliver the value that you actually promise. And also, yeah, basically like broadening the scope a little bit, that somebody doesn't only come for one service, but also is able to come back for another service. So that's actually quite nice to hear that maybe for the local market, that's already maybe one secret for the local market, that there's a variety of products so that people can come back again, or services so that they can come back again. Let's hear from Jawira.
Okay.
How is it in your business? Who are you mainly focusing on? And yeah, what positioning are you using, or how do you attract your target customer?
Okay. Thank you very much, Karina, for that question. In my line of business, our focus looks at delivering solutions for organizations that deliver socially impact-driven projects for the local populace. What that means is we not directly interface a lot with the local populace as per se, but we work with these organizations that deliver these services to these people. So we have developed a philosophy that we call a resilient solution. And this philosophy is what positions us as an organization. And what it does, it looks at different aspects, strategically to allow us to deliver good services. For example, one, we look at opportunity versus protection. And in opportunity, we look at ourselves as an organization that could make something happen, rather than an organization that needs to stop something bad from happening. We also look at ourselves as an organization that's curious versus experts. In curious, we mean that we will ask a lot of questions to learn more about an organization, its core objective and purpose, rather than looking at ourselves as specialists. We look at ourselves as creatives versus reactives. And here we are looking at ourselves as people who can discover and unearth possibilities that are bigger than the client's intended purpose, rather than looking at problems and solutions only. We look at ourselves as an organization that looks at abundance versus scarcity, where we believe that there is plenty more to offer clients for their services and for what they provide, rather than thinking that we are constrained by our own personal limitations. Secondly, we look at ourselves as explorers rather than as certainties. And in exploration, we look at ourselves as people who have flexible and curious plans to deliver meaningful interventions for our clients. And last but not least, we stand for the philosophy of delivering communication services under a mindset that serves. And in serving, we have broken it down to say that for us as an organization, we see the now, the next, and the beyond. We exercise learning and our expertise to develop solutions that transform organizations. But we make sure that we reinvent continuously to ensure that our clients get value for money, but also get unique solutions in our service provision. We remain versatile and vibrant, and using our experience and our captured learnings in whatever we deliver, we try and make sure that we evaluate ourselves at every stage of our engagement with clients. And the clients that we look at are primarily development corporations, non-profit organizations, and socially driven, impact-driven organizations. These clients offer a vast array of services, from institutional development to healthcare, to maternal neonatal services, to education, to technological development, to youth empowerment, to addressing issues like COVID response. And primarily, our thrive is in service. And service is what we stand for. So we have positioned ourselves as an organization that primarily serves to make sure that our clients get value for money, get unique solutions, and get value-driven services. And this we do through developing communication tools, communication services, and communication response strategies. For example, currently, we are supporting a project under Solidarity Eastern Central Africa, where we are developing communication tools that allow Solidaridad to speak to entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs as individuals in different parts of Eastern Central Africa, but also develop tools that they can use to communicate gender-sensitive solutions to these audiences, which include entrepreneurs. And what we have learned within what we're creating is we have learned that it is important for us to understand our consumer dynamics before we create communication material. And so through the experience that we had in the team of consultants that we're working with, we are culturally orienting our communication strategies and solutions to be able to unearth existing problems within the entrepreneurial infrastructure in Eastern Central Africa, but also develop meaningful visual communication as well as communication tools that will allow this organization to deliver their objectives and strategies to the vast array of people that they are looking for. So basically, that's what we are as an organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this contribution. All these responses, I think they have given us really a very good picture of what kind of panelists and businesses we have here, though it sounds everything sounds like very, very positive. So let's also look into the challenges we are facing, because we also believe that usually through the challenges we grow most, because it's something that is challenging our mind, challenging us maybe even physically, and we learn like how to overcome it and how to be better in future. So maybe we can hear from each one of you one challenge that you have faced, maybe in terms of positioning, maybe in terms of really getting to your target market, and what you have done or which strategies you have used to overcome these challenges. Because maybe from that also other listeners here can learn and also apply similar learnings or similar strategies to overcome similar challenges in their business. So maybe this time we start with, we go the other direction. So we start with Javira. What is, maybe if you need to pick one challenge in terms of addressing your target customer, what could be one of the challenges you have overcome or you're still trying to overcome, and what strategies are you using?
Thank you very much. This is a very interesting question, and I'm sure it applies to quite a number of us in the entrepreneur sector. One of the biggest challenges we are facing as a business in delivering our services to our customers is, I would call it financial constraints. COVID-19 presented a new nuance. Many organizations have cut their funding. Many organizations are laying down staff. Many organizations are limiting their resource. From experience, organizations usually spend between 6 to 10% of project budgets on communication and communication support. Unfortunately, as a result of the COVID and the cuts in staff and funding, obviously organizations have cut budgets. Now, one of the biggest challenges that small and medium enterprises face is, and this is what I have faced quite a lot, and I keep calling Felix all the time, is the challenge of receivables. So most of the projects that we handle are pre-financed. What that means is we collect resources as a business through our equity and through financing, and then we undertake projects and get paid at a later date. Now, I'll give you an example. There is one of our clients that we're doing work for, who I can't name for purposes of protecting client interest, where we have done a project for nearly 2 years, and we almost had not been paid in 2 years. And as a small and medium enterprise, it required us to source resources to be able to finance this project and execute it. Now, we faced huge challenges in managing this project because we borrowed and we couldn't pay our interests in time for the project. And therefore, we had to get resources from other projects to be able to finance this project. And so what that meant is we had to cut down on our staff and project teams to be able to remain afloat and sustainable. And it was a huge challenge to deliver our services. So we looked at all the options that we learned in the business school of looking for financing from banks. And we had actually gotten loans from individuals and banks, but we couldn't even pay the interests in time. So it became a huge challenge from a business management perspective. But we have developed strategies to try and mitigate the circumstances through looking at project financing. So we no longer engage in projects that don't have part payments in project financing as a business. And we have put our foot down and we have said, yes, we would like to grow. Yes, we would like to get opportunities. But if we're not getting financing of upcoming projects, we do not engage. And I tell you what, it is working with organizations that we do work for. We have sat down and told them, COVID has come. People are experiencing challenges. Businesses are struggling world over. They are getting pre-financing globally, and strategies need to change. We cannot work with the approach of pre-financing projects anymore. What we are doing now is when we sign a contract with you, we will take a 10%. We will deliver an inception report on a project. When we execute the project, we will accept a minimum of 20 to 30% using World Bank standards of project execution. If you're happy with the terms, we will deliver. If you're not happy with the terms, let the opportunity go. And I tell you what, it is working for clients that have seen the value of the services that we offer, who we have worked with repeatedly. They are saying, yes, we will revise our terms. We will be able to address the challenges knowing that companies are struggling. And it is helping us sort of remain afloat. So that is the biggest challenge that I have faced in my business and in running my business. Thank you very much, Karina. I hope I have contributed something. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. This was very interesting because I believe that many of us are challenged by the same issue, by cash flows or delayed payments from the customer side. And I think you gave a very relevant strategy of saying we need to first have a deposit, or we need to have an advance payment in order to give our services, or we have certain payment structures or models in place. And it's very interesting to see how your customers are responding to it and even revising their payment policies or their methods they have been using. So definitely very, very interesting. Diana, what is the biggest challenge in your business, and what are the strategies that you have tried to use to overcome that challenge?
Incidentally, what Louis has just communicated is also the biggest challenge in our business, because also our customers are businesses, and they have structures in which they make payments for services, and of course most of those that we are targeting also make their payments at the end of the service when you deliver the service. For us, what we have done, there are two things. We changed our target customer, our major target customer, to the medium-sized businesses, and also we raised our deposit rate to 70%, which is actually now working. So in that way, we are having client financing as our source of revenue, or a source of financing for work, for operations. So in this has actually helped us create for us a positive cash flow, and also the fact that our clients know the value of services they get from us. They have been able to accept this and take this on, and we're beginning to continue to grow it. And we are developing a new business model in which we'll, by the end of a certain period, let's say 6 months from now, we'll be getting 100% client financing on specific products. So that is that is the biggest challenge that we've had in our business, and that's the solution we have come up with that's working.
Great, thank you so much. And then Parity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karina. The lake is now a little more bright. I hope you can see it from Hawks Island. Yeah, certainly as a business, the biggest challenge was competition when we were beginning. And we found established lodges with a big number of tour companies had signed MOUs with them, and it was difficult to penetrate the market. And when COVID came, it provided us a good opportunity. It more or less leveled all our businesses. The international market in the first lockdown was closed. So we all had to run for the domestic market. Because we were already targeting the domestic market, it was easy for the domestic market to start drumming that we have a budget hotel at Hawks Island Lodge, and we can be there at a cheaper price at 500,000 with your friend. You can stay there, full board and everything, and that budget is enough for you at Hawks Island Lodge. And because of that, then it was easy for us to convince the market. Actually, in last year, 2020, we had more revenue, almost double the revenue we had in 2019 when there was no lockdown. So it actually opened us up so much, and it's still happening, that every weekend, or more or less 3 weekends of every month, we are actually full. And this has been quite good. The other was building a brand around me, and I don't know where this is going to end, that when you sit with me at the campfire, the stories I tell you are different from any story that you'd get from any tour person or something like that, or any of our employee. And I found that most of the time, when we have young people, and I make a decision most of the time to do my early morning walks or hikes or something like that with customers. Every time I see a customer wants to hike a hill, I hike with them. Those who want to hike mountains, I hike with them. I've hiked all the mountains in Kisoro, Elegon, and wherever. And because then you develop yourself nearer to your customers. And we found that owner managed lodges where customers, whether international or local, find you at the lodge, they tend to like it more. The kids tend to like us more when they find us here. And because of that, there are sometimes when I'm not here, I've made a decision that my daughter is also here. So we are building now the brand around the two of us, and it's working. The only danger it has is that when I'm not here, some customers, when they call and they say, Parity, where are you? Well, we want to come over. When I tell them that I'm in Kampala, sometimes they don't book. We found that as a problem, and I think I need to see a way of trying to shift the brand to other people that can serve customers. But I think so far so good. We believe we are growing. We believe our brand is in the budget market. We believe we should be leading now, and we want to see how we can leverage on that and create more business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before I have one last short question that Parity already answered partly, I would like to invite also the general audience to think of a few questions that you have for our panelists or even for the keynote speaker, and you can start putting them in the chat box. Otherwise, we can also have, after this last question, that people raise their hands, but maybe the chat box is easier to just keep an overview. So think of your questions that you have. The last question I had is actually around what are the common misconceptions in terms of positioning your business for the local market? And Parity has already started mentioning it, that with COVID, there needed to be a bit of rethinking, that now that the international tourists are not the major tourist group, like what else can we do? Like how can we reinvent, or how can we better serve our local market or another target group, basically? So let me ask Diana, what are some of the misconceptions that you have come across, that where you were thinking, oh, our customer wants A, B, C, D, or our customer is a so-and-so, but then later you learn, no, it's actually not the case. What are some of your misconceptions?
I think some of our misconceptions, okay, for example, there's a product that we wanted to produce at a certain time. One of the misconceptions is believing, putting a product, thinking that a product customer will automatically take a certain product, a wonderful product, a unique product, and not take into consideration whether there's a need, there's a specific need for it. There was a time that we had wanted like a year, 2 years ago, we had wanted to develop products, wanted to have a site where a customer could come in and get a specific design from our website, and then input the information in that website, in the templates, and then have the product out. But then, and then here we're looking at basically business cards, stationery, certain types of products. But with time, and we kept pushing that particular product, but we didn't gain the traction that we wanted until we started critically researching and diving deeper into what our customer needs were. And we realized, first of all, within that time, there was a growing wave of digital products. So there are certain products that we are not going to produce, that are going to become obsolete in our industry, printing and branding, because now it's, for example, like websites. Yes, websites are still important, but social media also came through, and largely people rely on Facebook, Instagram, on having their works on Twitter. So it's a bit a hard sell to tell them to, yes, you need the entire website designed for you. It might not be the first thing that they think about, yet then it was much easier to sell it to them because all these other products had not come with the market. Now, products like business cards, flyers, and posters, our customers don't use them as much anymore because they have social media. You can put a post in a WhatsApp group and it will go much faster than a poster you put on the street. Anyway, even the business climate has changed. So yes, it's not enough to sit down in your office, in your small cocoon and develop a product without going out there and testing it out and seeing what the customer wants. I think this was one of the first modules that we did with the business model canvas, where you have his all assumptions, but you still have to get out and understand what does your customer need and does your service fit the need of the customer. Sometimes you realize that what you thought they wanted is not what they want. And from the feedback that you get, you're able to develop a much better, superior product that they will actually be able to buy.
Very good. Thank you so much for this example. Do you also have an example, Jawira? Something similar, a common misconception that you had, but then later on you learned it's actually not the case.
Yes, I think for me, it was from how you source your customers. Traditionally, the traditional approaches of sourcing customers, especially nonprofit organizations and these development corporations, was, oh, when you see an ad in the papers, a bid, or you create a bid and then you lobby for it and then you win work. The reality is Uganda does not work that way. I have actually learned that building networks and leveraging on your networks is much more beneficial to successful strategic business growth than assumptions that you may have that say, oh, I've seen a bid in the newspapers and I'm going to put in and I have all the requirements. It was our strategy as a business. We would develop technical proposals for bids in papers and we would write so many bids and we always were number 3 or number 2. So strategically, I have learned that building your social networks is extremely important in business growth, because once you have good networks, then you will be able to leverage on those networks to actually win opportunities. But also I have learned that what is important is understanding what the problem of a client is. So even without waiting for what a client seeks through the traditional mediums of advertising, once you strategically look at organizations, for example, like me, who primarily works with nonprofit organizations, and if you ask the right questions, you are able to identify challenges that they are facing. And once you identify the challenges, you are able to propose communication interventions that will address these challenges. And every organization, whether small or medium or big, has challenges. So once you go that way, then you become a problem solver rather than a communication consultant. And every organization is looking for people who solve problems. So whether it's a small nonprofit organization with maybe a population of 5 personnel, or you're dealing with multinationals and development corporations, once you start looking increasingly into the challenges that they're facing through project and program management, and then identifying these challenges and presenting these challenges to them and how you can help them solve them by addressing the gaps that they are facing, everyone will lend an ear to you. And for us strategically, that is beginning to work. So yes, Karina, that's my contribution.
Thank you so much. Makes a lot of sense. And yeah, especially with whatever services and products we are providing, we should aim to be problem solvers. And for that, we need to understand our customers' problems and customer desires very well in order to actually solve those problems or serve them better. With that being said, I would like to open up for the general questions from the general audience. And I see already one question in the chat box, so we can go with that, right? Yeah, we can go ahead with that, I think. Just in terms of time management, we started a little late, so I suggest we go up to 5:15, so giving it another 15 to 20 minutes to wrap up everything, so we can have enough time to have like 2 or 3 questions from the audience to whoever you want to address it to. In terms of the 3 panelists and the keynote speaker. The first question in the chat box I see, I think, is general. So let me go with that one from Miramba. She is asking any watch outs to avoid or any recommendations from the panelists for new and upcoming startups in Uganda. So that is quite broad. Is there any, Miramba, is there any specific aspect you would like to know, or just if you like to ask any particular panelist, maybe you can briefly unmute yourself. We are not too many people, so we can actually unmute ourselves.
Thank you very much. And thank you also for the very insightful presentations from all of the panelists. This is more in the context of maybe the legal frameworks, and also in regard to challenges generally to consider, be it in regard to the target markets you're considering, or usual ways of doing business in the different sectors each of the panelists are playing. So legal hurdles, financial hurdles, or any of those insights you may have as you are starting out, and the learnings that you may have had in the earlier processes of getting started. Thank you.
Thank you so much for clarifying. Let's ask maybe Diana, and yeah, maybe you have some recommendations for
her. Hello. Yes.
Yes.
Maybe for a startup, one thing that they don't tell us, especially when we're starting out in business, they might not tell you so much about, is taxation. You have to be compliant. Make sure as you're starting up, you plan for your taxes much earlier on, and definitely have your financials and bookkeeping in place, but make sure that your taxes, the director's taxes, the income, and if you're registered for VAT, because if you do not have these well done, they're going to affect your business in the future years, probably in your 3rd or 4th year, and that could lead to the collapse of your business. So that's very important to have a set of mind as you're starting your business to be.
Yeah, Diana, you are breaking a little bit. But thank you so much for sharing. I think it was clear like that we need to plan early for taxation, but probably also other aspects in terms of registration and legal compliance, not to wait until the last minute, but consider those factors from the beginning onwards. Maybe we can go to the second question. It is directed to Parity and Bernard in the tourism sector. So James is asking, is the tourism sector restricted to certain tourism hotspots, or could somebody just start any tourism related business deep in the village? I cannot even pronounce the name, but you can see the question in the chat box. Basically, it's around whether to establish yourself in a hotspot area for tourism, or also even consider other areas. What is your opinion, Parity?
Thank you so much, Karina. I've been running a presentation in other fora about tourism businesses, and I think we can document maybe more than 200 types of the businesses that you can do in the tourism sector. What we've been doing in Uganda, which I think is extremely wrong, is that we tend to focus on the natural attractions, the national parks, the lakes, and such things. And we've not invested so much into culture, into our history. You see, we don't have the Amini Museum, the Obote Museum. Buganda Kingdom does not have a serious museum. Toro Kingdom does not have a serious museum. Ugisu does not have. We've not promoted so much our food, the ruombo, the northern dishes, the marakwang, the bo. Somehow we tend to think these tourists come here to eat burgers. And actually what we have seen is that they don't. I have a product I promote for my village where my mom spends the day with tourists. We've not gone there since COVID, but it was one of the best products for the international market and local market, where I would just take tourists in the morning. They spend a whole day with my mom. She cooks for them, gives them food, takes them to the gardens. She shows them how food is created and how the Bachiga live in Kawale. There's another product I've been promoting of a lady in Rukaya called Robina. Those of you who know me very well know that I can't stop pass by Rukaya without eating Robina's steamed chicken. She boils her chicken, no flying, nothing, it's organic. And somehow we tend to believe that the international market will not like our local chicken. But when you promote it as organic, it's very tasty. People eat it. So there are so many businesses you can do around tourism. Your village home can be a tourist attraction. What I usually tell people is that tourism is more of marketing, and of these days, digital marketing. If you are not digital, if you are not online, you build structures, they will be empty all the time. If you are not on Instagram, now I have even gone to TikTok. I got forums where people think I should not go. I turned my whole account on Facebook into a business account. Because I don't pay and the reach is higher than when I promote my page. And when you don't do all those things, and if you are not with the market, with the people, then you don't pick them. So anything for me, I believe in Uganda can be sold as a tourist attraction. You can sell your cows, you can sell the milking, you can sell the sheep. People want to spend time with the sheep in the forest. You can sell your forest, you can even sell your home for people to come and see how James Chiseka lives. There are many things that we can promote as a country. And if we move away from only focusing on the natural gifts God has given us, I believe tourism itself will improve. So there are so many. At some point, maybe we can look at the tourism businesses that we can run. I have a presentation which should be having more than 100 tourism businesses that we can run. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank you so much. So it's truly a family-run business, like you really involve like all the family members. That's great to see. But also in case anyone needs ideas in tourism sector, now you know who to talk to. Somebody with very many ideas and a lot of experiences, like what can work and what tourists could be interested in. I assume this goes both for local and international tourists. Bernard, our keynote speaker, since you're also in that hospitality, tourism, entertainment sector, what is your opinion about this? Are you still with us? I'm not. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I think the whole thing, I think my take is that you have to keep innovating. People get excited over new ideas. You have to look, yes, there is a lot of culture and intangible and tangible content in our industry here, but that can excite. But the local market can actually be very satisfying because like Nyungu Yamawe, initially, if you look at our structures and everything, one would think that our biggest target would be international market because we have these banda, which are in A shape with wood and, grass. But apparently it is the local market that is consuming because of our value proposition. Affordable, accessible, workspace and areas of stay. So you need to read the times properly and interpret them. I think that is the mix for me, is that you must understand the times. How are you circumventing the times? Okay, forest is there. People are excited about it. They are bringing all wonderful ideas. And you'll have people thinking for you actually, because of what you have. If the value proposition, if the place or the service or the product excites people, people will give you deals and ideas. If it's a good service, people will start camping, bringing camping proposals for you. If the space is good, and that brings revenue stream, people will come and say, oh, I want to have my wedding here. Yeah? And we're going to have the first wedding in the woods there. You say, yeah. That's actually, And then if you have a nice product, people will say, okay, can I be your agent and distribute it in this region? As long as then you start dictating terms. Oh, yeah, do you have a van? So if you have a nice product or service, it will widen up opportunities for you. It is all about giving a nice value proposition and creative thinking. Thank you. To me, that's the take. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Also in the chat box, Jackson is sharing that basically you can create something anywhere as long as this is endorsed by UTB, that's the Uganda Tourism Board. Yeah, and you can have some community tourism, ecotourism services to attract the local market, but also the international market. Maybe we have one more question before we close this session, and then invite a few more people to just say a few closing remarks and also give us a few remarks about the way forward or when the next session will take place. Before we do that, is there one more question? I'm also seeing people can share their contacts. Please also share your Facebook or Instagram or websites in the chat box. I think that would also be interesting for the general audience to follow up. Please go ahead, panelists. You can put your contacts in the chat box. Is there one more question from anyone? You could unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat box. Any question from anyone? Also, if there's no question, maybe there's something that Felix has noticed among the panelists and the businesses that you would like to highlight that is maybe interesting for the audience, since you know most of the businesses very much in detail. Feel free to contribute. Otherwise, if there are no more questions, no more comments, we shall just slowly go towards the closure of this session. All right, it doesn't look like there are too many more comments and questions coming. Otherwise, feel free to still put them in the chat box. Keep sharing your details so that people can follow up with you. Thank you so much for everybody participating in it, in this very, very interesting panel discussion, I think, but also a very interesting keynote speech that we heard just before that. Let me actually now invite the UMU Alumni Association President, Mr. Ambrose, to just give a few remarks about this session, about the way forward, and then also kindly invite the Vice Chairperson, I hope he's here with us, for some closing remarks and a final prayer before we close the session. Ambrose, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Karina, for a very well moderated session. And a big thank you to the keynote speaker, Mr. Bernard Mujuni, and the three panelists. A job very well done. Every minute that I've spent on this session today was so much valuable. You guys have lots of experience to share with us. And I've been writing notes here. I can see I have 2 full pages of notes. And I think this is just the beginning. I want to thank very much the E4IMPACT alumni group for having responded to our request that you do run this particular session. And in the interest of time, I just want to hint on a few things from where I stand as the president of Uganda Matters University Alumni Association. I want to remind us that we are graduates of a very powerful university. I know many of us are also graduates of other universities, but I want to believe, and especially from the E4IMPACT perspective, that you definitely know that this is a unique kind of program that you will not find with any other university in the country. And I wanted also to make sure that I rub shoulders with you so that I can be able to pick some of the insights that you picked from this very practical program. We will do all our best as UMUA to find means of making sure that we popularize this program, because the country needs it. People who are about to retire need it. People who are in business need it. Fresh graduates who are ambitious with business ideas need it. We all need it. And so we want to make sure that we popularize it. We will do that. Some of you might have seen the Facebook post that I made yesterday, and yeah, some good feedback coming out from there. So the Alumni Association, as you will know, is not yet as strong and as vibrant as it ought to be. Because if we are close to 30,000 alumni of this great university, then our voice should be stronger and it should be felt across the country. And I want to thank those of you, the likes of Parity, the likes of Bernard Mujuni, and the rest of us who are having great impact out there in the business community and in the social development community. And we just need to find a way now of making our voice heard in unison. So we need to converge more. So if we invite you for events like these and many more for alumni, I do beg that you respond, because we may be strong in our individual ways, but I think we even can make a stronger impact when we are together. The Alumni Association is cooking up a number of things, and one of them is the UMUA think tank. We are forming a think tank that we think is going to help us to make our voice heard, even at policy level, not only locally, but even internationally. So I invite you, especially the alumni of E4IMPACT, to please participate whenever we call upon you. There is also another project which is cooking up, and I think it's going to be one of the products by the UMUA think tank, and that is the alumni tracer study. We want to, because many of us are in business, many of us are career professions. We don't know which alumni is in which business, and so we cannot even help each other, and we cannot build a strong case. We are seeing that, okay, if, for example, financial resources are a big limitation, if a big force like us can start a circle, and the UMUA executive is pursuing that, the UMUA circle, then that means that we can have an alternative source of financing for the businesses that are owned by alumni. So please, the tracer study is coming on soon. We'll be inboxing you, and please do respond when we ask you for this information, because we cannot design products that reach out in a relevant way to the different alumni and what they're doing if we do not have the right information about the alumni. So we will be informing you of the different initiatives coming up. Please visit the UMUA website. The video for this session will be uploaded as a link on the UMUA website so that more people can be able to access it. And we will also circulate it among the WhatsApp groups by the alumni. In the interest of time, I'll stop there. I want to thank you very, very much, all of you who have made your contributions. Parity, I've been very hooked when you talked about tourism, and I think one of the presentations that we'll be organizing soon as a follow-up is to organize a session for you, Parity, so that you can be able to make that presentation on the business, the different business possibilities within the tourism industry. Those who know me, many years ago in 2002, I saw a eucalyptus forest next to the Umu Gate, belonging to the Catholic parish of Nkozi, and I converted it into a leisure garden called the Eucalyptus Gardens. And yeah, people used to enjoy it. So when Bernard was presenting, I was like, so my idea wasn't offside. Why did I even abandon it in the first place? So thank you very much, guys, for the inspiration. Thank you very much for the participants. And this is monthly, so look out for the end of October presentation, and we will keep it rolling. And it's my pleasure now to invite the acting Vice Chancellor of Uganda Martyrs University. Some of you may not know him. This is an opportunity for you to get to know him. Reverend Father Dr. Christopher Mukidi, to come and give us his closing remarks, and then we will be out of here shortly. Thank you very much. Dr. Mukidi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President. I use this opportunity to thank the Alumni Association, but particularly the executive, for coming up with a wonderful idea of monthly meetings of the alumni. I'm sure a lot will be achieved through these meetings and workshops. Secondly, I want to thank the E4IMPACT Alumni Chapter, especially the keynote speaker, Mr. Bernard Munjuni, the CEO of Workspaces and Nyungu Yamawe Forest Park, the moderator, Madam Karina Gilles, the CEO of More Home, the panelists, Mr. Parita Twinomjini, CEO, Hawks Eye Lodge, Bunyonyi, Mrs. Diana Nsereko, the CEO, Brand Momentum, and Mr. Luwaga Javira, CEO, Lewis and Shaw Advertising Limited. All of you for organizing and moderating the third online meetup under the theme, positioning your business to serve the local market, an experiential perspective of E4IMPACT MBA Alumni. The sharing of your experiences has really enriched all of us. Thirdly, I thank all of you, the online audience, locally in Uganda and overseas, for your presence and participation. Without the audience, the sharing we would have had would be meaningless. The presentations and the experiences shared by the keynote speaker and the different panelists today is indeed a powerful testimony that WUMU's graduates have lived up to the university's vision and mission, which basically is to teach, do research, advance knowledge, and share that knowledge with the community in view of bettering society guided by ethical values. After listening to all of you, I felt like that man in Luke chapter 18, verses 9-14, who after coming to the temple and praying wholeheartedly and unreservedly before God, God listened and forgave him his sins. And Luke tells us that this man left the temple a changed man. I am sure my experience is a reflection of what all members of the audience feel, that after listening to you, there is no way we can go back home or to our normal chores unchanged. In view of the above testimonies, it is clear that our E4IMPACT graduates have been trained to be impact entrepreneurs and individuals who can operate in all sectors of life with great attention to the social and environmental needs of society. You may have noticed that all of our speakers are CEOs and self-employed in their respective enterprises, and above all, employing other people and thus creating employment. What these people have become partially is as a result of the training in WUMU's E4IMPACT program, which emphasizes idea identification and development of that idea into a reality of addressing the human needs. As all the students of the E4IMPACT know, the practice of enabling students to nurture and nourish their business ideas from the time of entering the program until they are ready not only to graduate, but also to implement it, is indeed something we should cherish. I am actually wondering why this kind of training is not rolled over to the other programs, especially those in the business administration and management docket.
Exactly.
At this note, allow me therefore to thank our dear partners, the Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore of Milan, Italy, particularly the Graduate School, Business and Society, who introduced the concept to us and worked with us all the way to ensure that it is developed and implemented. The sharing today is indeed a strong testimony that our E4IMPACT program has worked and it is still working. Thanks so much. For me, the take home of this workshop has the following lessons for us to learn. One, that the practices employed in the teaching of the E4IMPACT program should be rolled over to other programs, and particularly those of business. The practices, if embraced by our graduates, will give those necessary skills that will enable them to succeed in their businesses and enterprises, even amid the hazardous conditions of life, such as COVID-19. Besides helping the graduates to succeed, their skills can also be deployed to help others do the same in their respective businesses, and therefore contribute to some extent to the social and economic transformation of our country, Uganda. In my view, the graduates will do this, will be impacting the skills and practices of entrepreneurship on a wider community. Secondly, this workshop also makes me realize that E4IMPACT graduates are a part of a larger WUMO Alumni Association. Though the alumni have come from different backgrounds, studied different courses, and are now working in different places and engaging in different types of employment and enterprises, there is one constant that unites them together, and that is the university where they were trained from. Uganda Matters University is the place where they sharpened their thinking and perhaps refocused their worldview and outlook on life. Indeed, Uganda Matters University is their alma mater, meaning their nourishing mother. It was at WUMU that they were nourished with knowledge and values. Like in the relationship of children to their mother and vice versa, let us always support one another. As you develop and expand your horizons, always remember your alma mater, your nourishing mother. Having said that, let me also say the following. One, that having the same mother, there is a lot that the alumni can do together as brothers and sisters in business. We have the advantage of having different talents, qualifications, enterprises, opportunities, and so on and so forth. I would like to propose that as alumni, there is a lot that you can do together to expand your businesses and let them grow. This can be achieved through forming partnerships among yourselves. Similarly, there is a lot of business that your organizations or companies can do with WUMU. We need to sit down and explore the possible opportunities between your organizations, stroke companies, and WUMU, where we can collaborate and work together. WUMU is very much interested in forming partnerships that will help her achieve its vision and mission. And how good it will be if these partnerships are formed with organizations and companies belonging to the alumni. Finally, WUMU does a lot of things through the programs that we teach. For example, in the Faculty of Business Administration and Management, we teach accounts, finance, auditing, human resource, among others. We have the personnel as well as the content to teach, but we lack the expertise to use these skills through consultancies and therefore provide various services to different clients. I am thinking aloud that alumni can help us to form consultancies in accordance with the different faculties that we have. This is a fertile area that we can form business around and then together come up with something formidable that can make money for you as individuals, but also for women. I therefore look forward to seeing many of you reaching out to us and beginning discussions on how together these consultancies can be formed. Let it be food for thought for those who are interested. As I conclude, once again, I thank the organizers, the speakers, especially the keynote speaker, and all of you for your presence and participation. I thank you so much for listening to me. Back to you, Ambrose.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for these enriching words. This was really the most perfect way to end this discussion that we just had. Mr. Ambrose, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. These were very, very enriching words. And I think the best way to end this very, very fruitful discussion, maybe we can have a closing prayer and then we close the session for today.
And Karina, can I, with your permission, request the acting Vice Chancellor to bless us with the closing prayer, if you will.
Yes, please. That would be perfect.
Okay, let us pray. God our Father, we thank you for this moment that you have given us to be together and share ideas together. We thank you for the time that you have given us, and especially to meditate on these wonderful ideas presented by our colleagues. We ask you, Lord, to continue to guide us and to give us the strength and the wisdom, especially to put into practice what we have learned, and also to give us the courage to help even our other colleagues and the entire communities around us, so that they too can be as successful as we are. We make this prayer through Jesus Christ our Lord. The Lord be with you.
And with you.
May the Almighty God bless you, the Father and the Son.
The Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So
Have a
much.
wonderful day.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, you too. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
I gave you more for ginger. No, ginger, nice ginger. I couldn't, yeah, I prefer it, but even like ginger.